All right, everybody, welcome back to the Greedo's Goldmine Kitchen, your most bipolar kitchen in all the interwebs, probably. Definitely a kitchen for divorced dads and trying to keep yourself eating better than what the standard expectation might be. Everyone out there obviously is always welcome to these recipes. I just make these jokes being a divorced dad myself. And today we're going to do a twist on a family favorite. One of my kiddos' favorite things week in and week out is fettuccine alfredo and steaks. And talking to a friend, I was inspired to twist that onto a bit of my own carbonara. So we're going to do a carbonara sauce today with some mini penne. That just sounded delicious, and some steaks too, but we're not going to focus on the steaks. We're going to focus on the sauce preparation in particular and the pasta itself. And this is one that can go for your own cravings or a great date night. Either way, I'm going to stand up at this point, so my knees are murdering me, and we're going to start this process. I'm also going to adjust this camera so that we can see better what's going on. There we go. I'm still getting used to using this kitchen table. All right, so there we go. Sauce prep. What do we got going on the stove already? We're getting our water heated to boiling for the penne. Somewhere around here exists, yes, a lid for that so it boils faster. Obviously put salt in your water to lower that boiling point, get it going. But the sauce, what are we going to do with it? Well, first of all, I need my pan. And I prefer this one personally for sauces. It's the square bottom, or squared bottom, round, big guy. First things first, because it is a carbonara, you're gonna need some sort of a pork. Pancetta is probably the way to go, but on the fly, I don't always have that. We are going to use crumbled bacon. So first things first is going to be use a small pan and get that crumbled bacon going to perfection. So we need to find our utensils as we go, as always, the most chaotic kitchen on the planet too at times. So we're gonna start letting that bacon get a little bit fried up and crispy while our water also heats for the pasta. And simultaneous to that, we're gonna use this space right here to make our sauce. So what is going into our particular sauce? Well, first things first, garlic. About 8 cloves worth of crushed garlic or pressed garlic. I'm using these ones you can get at Trader Joe's in the freezer section for convenience today. But some people like to do it by hand, and if you do, it's going to be 8 cloves worth. So I'm popping my garlic cloves in there first. These are crushed and frozen, so I just want to get them before they all melt on me and put them back in the freezer. Okay, great. Let's get these out of the way real quick. And as we do that, we can smell our bacon going. That smells quite delicious as we prepare this special little meal. For the steak part, the cast iron skillet's ready to go, but again, we're not going to focus on that. Maybe that's a separate video. But what is this? A pint of heavy whipping cream. I pretty much use the entire pint. About 3/4 of it, in fact. Somewhere between that for your own desired creaminess. Based on how much we're making today, we're just cooking for ourselves, probably. So we're only gonna make like a half a box of pasta. If I was making an entire box of pasta, I would for sure use the entire pint, but today I'm using more like 2/3 to 3/4. So keep that in mind as well. If you use the whole pint, it just means you're gonna have extra sauce at the end for whatever purpose or another use. All right, and so trying not to burn ourselves here, of course. Our bacon since it's all crumbled already, is pretty much done and ready to go. So we can throw that in there as well. And get that pan out of our way. Now when it comes to seasonings, we are going to use a little bit of sea salt. A little bit of black pepper to taste on both. A little bit of crushed red pepper, just for a tiny bit of extra kick, but not a lot. Open. Apparently I never used this crushed red pepper before. It's a brand new seasoning, so that's cool. Well, I could get it open. So I'm just gonna do it this way. Should give it a little bit of smokiness too as it cooks a little bit. All right. Some Italian seasoning. All ready to go. Just get a nice little dash of that over. Some butter. When it comes to this, I'm using Kerrygold. This is pretty much a fresh brick of Kerrygold butter, and I'm using about 1/3 of that brick for this particular recipe. And last but not least, you need a cheesy carbonara on this one. So a little laziness, Trader Joe's Quattro Formaggio, pretty good free plug there, but basically using a 4-cheese blend, whether I'm hand making it or buying it, and it's Parmesan, Asiago, Fontina, and provolone cheese. And so this, basically I am throwing into taste and preference, which is to say a giant handful spread over this entire sauce. And so if you want to take a look at what the sauce looks like before the cheese, here we go. You can kind of see it there. You got the nice creaminess. In fact, let's try to tilt this down and look at it. We got the nice creaminess there from all of the heavy whipping cream, the bacon, all those different spices, salt, pepper, and the garlic ready to go. We'll throw some cheese into this guy. Just a nice big handful to cover the whole deal. Now at this point, what we're looking at is something that looks like this in the pan. And now we are ready to put this bad boy on the stove. Heat it up. I'm gonna get my cast iron skillet out of the way for now because I don't really need it until I get to those steaks. Pretty much with this sauce, all we're doing is we're melting it all together into one creamy goodness. We need our trusty wooden spoon. I'm gonna add a tiny bit more cream just out of my own preference. And we are ready to roll. So this thing is just going to slowly start to bubble up, heat, melt all together. And as that happens, you just keep stirring it nicely so it doesn't get clumpy anywhere from the cheese or whatnot, or burnt at all, I guess. Whatever you want to say, but I just like to mind it as it melts together, creates its goodness. As this is happening, of course, that water has come to a good rolling boil. So we're gonna put about a half a box of penne in there. And that will serve to be our pasta portion of this particular meal. And when it comes to the pasta, we're gonna get our kitchen timer going. It is 9 minutes for penne, once it's at full boil. So we're gonna do that. Our sauce is starting to bubble and heat up here and getting that butter melted in. It's getting all the flavors of the pork, the spices, the cheese, the butter, the cream. It's gonna be nice and rich when we're done. So I can get my cheese out of the way now at this point. We can start heating up our cast iron skillet steaks. If they fit. Actually, I'll just do those on a separate one altogether at this point. I don't think we're going to be able to fit it all at the moment on this one. So slowly but surely, our sauce is coming together. And as I said, you got to mind it and stir it in between. Same with your pasta. When you're boiling pasta, you always want to stir it here and there so that as you're doing things, you get a real good uniform al dente flavor through it. So just, again, make sure we toss those pastas every now and then. And at this point in the sauce, the butter should be pretty well melted through. Your cheese is definitely melted. You're boiling off the water to get it to your desired thickness for the pasta. Let's see if we can get a good look at this real quick. There's that boiling right there. Look at that. Isn't that look beautiful? And we come over here. We got our pasta, cast iron skillet ready for those steaks. And boom, this kitchen is rolling for a change with some flavor and goodness waiting to be enjoyed. It's always rolling with flavor and goodness waiting to be enjoyed, but just a new variation of it today, a new video and a new recipe. So at this point, our sauce is literally just boiling it to consistency for the desired thickness. Everything's pretty well cooked in. It's all melted. It is looking quite beautiful and smelling even more delicious. Some people can also put a caramelized onion within here to go with that bacon. Personally, I try to avoid onions at times with certain recipes, being again slightly allergic to the sulfur, but I'm not opposed to it if somebody was to serve it to me that way. Mushrooms as well. I mean, there's so many different ways you could add on to the sauce, make it your own, that it's not even funny. It's pretty much just taking a base Alfredo sauce at the end of the day and flavoring it up with different elements of protein, seasoning, and cheeses. Let's check this out real quick. Very garlicky. It's wonderful. All right, and I think I got the thickness that I want. I could feel it in the spoon at this point, and the cheese is all nice and melted. The butter's in there. The bacon's well spread throughout. The seasonings are immaculately balanced. I don't do it by any sort of measurements. As you see, it's all by flavor. It's about 12 grinds of pepper, a small quarter-sized handful sprinkled throughout of the red pepper. What was it, like 12 or 13 shakes back and forth of the kosher salt, 8 cloves of garlic. That much I know, at least from the units of what we buy and put into it. 2 handfuls of 4 cheese blend, 1/3 of a brick of Kerrygold butter, and 6 strips of crumbled bacon in the end. I mean, you know, how do you go wrong with that? It looks amazing. It tasted amazing when we gave it its test. It's nice and hot and creamy, ready to go for this pasta, which we got 3 minutes on. I mean, can't beat it. So let's take a look real quick at our final product on this sauce before we put it all together in 3 minutes time, in which case I will cut to a short break here. That way I can get the steaks up next and prepared and get ready to get rid of the pasta water, all of that good business. And once I do that, we'll combine it, check out the final product here, and give it a quick taste test. So stay tuned and hold tight, guys. We'll be right back. All right, folks, we are back. We got this pasta finished up and drained, so you get your nice al dente mini pennies. It's a half a box worth. We have got our sauce there, which you saw, gravy, whatever you want to call that traditionally. And so when it comes to this, I'm going to do it the sloppy, normal, traditional way, which is to say, we made it perfectly balanced based on our own knowledge of this particular recipe and how many times we've made it. So I'm just mixing these two together. The consistency of which of this particular sauce is always like spot on once you get the feel for it, so that like you know pretty much exactly how much you really need to make each time. So with that, I can just stir that sauce and that pasta all together so that everything is nice and even when it comes to protein, spices, seasonings, noodle, the whole 9 yards. All right, now that that's ready, we can serve ourselves some and take a look at what this looks like. All right, and here it is. Our mini penne variant of carbonara. So you get your creamy white sauce with the added in protein of pork, in our case bacon instead of pancetta, although pancetta would have been preferred. Your Italian seasonings, red pepper, salt, salt, garlic, butter, cheese, 4 cheese blend that is. What could go wrong? Let's take a taste of this beauty out real quick. See how we did. And maybe if we get a bonus feature, we'll talk about how I do the cast iron skillet steaks to go with this. So let's check this out real quick. This looks delicious. We want to get some bacon for sure. Some of those noodles, it's nice and hot still. It's very fresh. It literally just came off the stove. 2 thumbs up, spot on. Not too salty, not too bland. You get all of those different flavors in there. Pasta is perfectly al dente. It's not a watery sauce, but it's not like overly thick. This hit the craving. So yeah, so ends another kitchen time at Greedo's Gold Mine. We hope you enjoyed this little recipe, got a little inspiration for yourself. And I'm gonna get to enjoying this and making those steaks. And while I do that, I hope wherever you are in the world, you are having a great rest of your weekend. Thanks for tuning in as always. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more similar content. All comments are welcome, including recipe, innovations, adaptations, improvements, etc. We love to experiment. We love to learn new things, and we hope you do too. So until the next one, thanks again, and we will catch you later. All right, everybody, welcome back to Greedo's Goldmine Kitchen. We will do that bonus as we planned while we enjoy this wonderful carbonara dish that we created. And so what's up next? Some fillets. Yes, that's right, fillets to go with this. We got our cast iron skillet already heating up, so everything is good. Let's season these guys real quick. What are we seasoning them with? Well, I'll start with onion powder, of course. So make sure each side gets a nice coating of each one of these. We're going to put some garlic powder on there. 2 times over with the garlic powder, actually 3, 4. Some seasoning salt. And black pepper. A little bit of paprika. I'll flip those over. Same thing on the other side. Nice small little coating of onion powder. A little more garlic powder. Some seasoning salt. Pepper, some paprika. And at this point, your skillet should be nice and hot, so we are just gonna pop these puppies right in there. A little olive oil to begin with to make sure that nothing sticks. Get our garbage out of the way. And pretty much I do these on pretty much medium-high heat to the smoke point. Well, pretty high heat anyway, and what it does is it really allows you to get the outside of that meat nice and charred to perfection while keeping it medium rare, juicy, and tender on the inside. The seasonings are all to flavor, that way you can get a good bit of that enhancement on the outside, but you really still taste the cut of the meat on the inside is the goal here. And so as you see really fast, it does a pretty quick job of getting these guys at that temperature. And so basically, yeah, it's 5 minutes pretty much on each side, 6 minutes, depending on your taste. I also like to spend at least a minute on each edge just to make sure you get a good even cook through. And once that's done, pretty much, you got your steaks. We're just doing it by eye and feeling because we've done this so many times. So the times are not a set guideline or a set necessity. It's just about around this amount of time you should be seeing this. Now, something I like to do with cast iron too to make sure to get an even cook, as you'll notice on both sides as I go around, I like to also move the steaks too so that they see different parts of the metal and really get that nice even cook. So we're gonna let those go for a few minutes. I'm gonna cut it because I'm sure it's boring for you guys to just watch me literally for 10 to 15 minutes stand here flipping steaks. But at the very end, we'll get a quick look at what these guys look like, show you the whole little meal combination with the pasta, get some salad suggestions, and leave you to enjoy. So hold tight, folks. We'll be right back. All right, everyone, and we are back. It's going to be a little loud in here because we had to get the vent going for the smoke because, of course, if you do a cast iron skillet right, there's going to be smoke. So these steaks are pretty much ready to go. Give them a minute or so. I'm going to pop them onto a plate and we'll check these bad boys out and see what we got. So we got our plate. All right, so let's check these out. So we got two absolutely beautiful fillets right here. We are going for a medium rare. So let's cut into one of these guys. Typically, you might let them wait a little bit. Oh, beautiful. A little bit under medium rare. Maybe not. Actually, yeah, pretty good medium rare. Nice pink in the middle. Wonderful brown, crispy outside. We're gonna let these guys sit in underneath foil for 5 minutes to fully cook the rest of the way through. But these are gonna pair extremely excellently with this particular pasta dish. So we will show you the final result here. Let's let these sit for a few minutes, finish their cook process, so to speak, and we will do our final taste test on this particular installment of Greedo's Goldmine Kitchen. All right, everybody, now that we're done, we've waited for these steaks to properly set and finish, their cook process. What are we pairing, obviously, together tonight? We got our penne carbonara twist, which is absolutely phenomenal. We've got our cast iron fillets, which came out absolutely immaculately. And we're pairing it with a multi-grain salad French dressing, which I'm getting all over my hands and on my clothes now by default. And it's gonna be baby chard, spinach, kale, and arugula, hand tossed, and then again country French dressing for that that sweetness balance. So let's try out the steak because that's what we came for. Let's see what this bad boy looks like. And so inside we got our perfect pinkish desired outcome. You just add minutes to each cook time. If you want it more well done, this is absolutely perfect to my liking. It's nice, it's tender, it's really juicy. Got that char a little bit on the outside. Melts in your mouth. You get the flavor of the beef really nicely. Plus that blend of everything you used for the rub coating prior to cooking. Paired with the sweetness of the dressing on the salad and the creaminess and sort of savoriness of that carbonara twist, you really can't go wrong. This is a meal that ideally you want to make to share with somebody because of the amount of work and dishes that you don't see here in the background that goes into it. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple when it comes to the execution, but it's going to be a massive amount of very hearty food that you just can't get enough of. Hopefully also, if you're doing it in a dating sort of realm, it does impressions or leads to good impressions. If you're doing it for your kids, hopefully it creates family favorites. If you're doing it simply for yourself, hey, we all deserve every now and then a treat. So regardless of who you are, or what's your whole motivations, another meal that we enjoy around here at Greedo's Goldmine that we just wanted to share with the world. So, you got our own version of a recipe, which is to say always made with love. The consistency comes with practice, effort, and doing it more than it does having measuring cups. And until the next one, we hope you enjoy. We hope you're inspired. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more similar content. please feel free to comment all you want on additions to the recipe that you might suggest, things you liked about it, constructive criticisms, even just fun banter, whatever it is. We always appreciate it. And until the next one, wherever you are in this world, we hope you're having a good weekend. We'll catch you on the next one. And we're going to enjoy this lovely meal finally and hope you do too. Thanks again for tuning in, everybody.